Hello and welcome to this video where I'm going to talk to you all about the order of operations. Now what this means is, as you'll remember, operations just means are we adding, taking away, multiplying or subtracting. It's what we're doing in maths. The order is which order do we actually do this? If we've got a calculation that's got several of these operations, how do we know what to do? And I'm going to explain to you. So for example, if I have 3 plus 2 times 5, well, if I do 3 add 2, if I do those ones first, 3 add 2 is 5, and then 5 times 5 equals 25. Or let's write it out again, 3 add 2 times 5. If I do 2 times 5 first, which is 10, and then do 3 add 10, I get 13. So that is a little bit confusing, isn't it? Which way do I do it? And that's what I'm going to explain to you. Now, the first thing I want to say is sometimes it doesn't matter. So for example, if I have got 10 add 2 take away 1, I can do 10 add 2 is 12, and 12 take away 1 is 11. Or I could do 2 take away 1 is 1, and 10 add 1 is 11. So that's going to be the same whichever way I do it. So if I'm doing adding and taking away, it doesn't matter because these have a property which is called they are associative. And this is something which you come onto when you move up into GCSE maths. And it's the same with multiplying. If I do, for example, 6 times 6 divided by 2, I could either do 6 times 6 is 36, then divide that by 2 is 18, or I could do 6 divided by 2 is 3, and 6 times 3 is 18. So those are exactly the same. It doesn't matter which order, but it does start to matter, as we can see in this one, if I mix plus and minuses. And it also makes a difference if I start mixing, dividing and taking away. So let's have a look and work out which way we do it. Well, what we do is, if we have a calculation like this, let's do this. So I'm going to do 3 times 2, and I'm going to put brackets in it, and I'm going to add and put some other brackets to add 4. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is I always do the brackets first. So whenever you see brackets, always do them first. So 3 times 2 is 6. And I quite like to just write above the brackets what I'm doing here. And then 2 add 4 also equals 6. And then 6 add 6 gives me 12. So that was the first operation that we do. So I'm going to write this down here, brackets. Always do the brackets first. Now, the next thing you're going to do is any kind of adding or, any kind of multiplying or dividing. That's what I would always do next. So if this to have adding next, there wasn't any multiplying and dividing, so I did that next. But if I had something like, let's have a look at this. 2 times 2 times 3 add 4. Well, I know I'm going to do the brackets first because I've written that down, okay? So 2 times 2 is 4. Now, what am I going to do? Am I going to do 3 add 4 and multiply that together? Or am I going to multiply this by 3 first? Well, what I'm actually going to do is do the multiplication next. So do 4 times 3 is 12, and then add 4 to give me 16. So brackets, and then I'm going to do multiplication next. So I'll do multiplying. And also I can do dividing, because as we looked when we did this one, it doesn't matter which order we do multiplying and dividing. So I can do any multiplying or dividing next. And then that leaves me, the last thing I'm going to do is to do any addition or subtraction. So that's going to be the third one to do. So when you come to doing this, always work out the brackets first, then do any multiplying or dividing, and then finally do any addition or subtraction. And there's a way that you can remember this, which you may have heard, and you'll certainly come across it again, which is we write this down and we write out a word called BODMAS. And that will help you remember which order to do it in. So the first thing you're going to do is do brackets. Always work out the brackets first. Now this next one is called orders. Now you don't need to worry about that in Key Stage 2, but you'll come onto that in secondary school or Key Stage 3 or GCSE. Orders means things like if you've got squares or square roots or that kind of thing, you would do that next, but we're not worried about that in the work we're doing here. The next thing that you would do is division, then multiplication, and remember I'm going to kind of group these ones together, and then addition, and then lastly subtraction. So if you remember this, BODMAS, and just think brackets, don't worry about the O for the time being, and then division, multiplication, addition and subtraction. And that is the order you work things out in. Let's do quite a nice example at the bottom to see if we can do it. So I'm going to do 3, add 6, take away 1, multiply it by 4. So let's go through and see what we've got here. First thing I'm going to do is the brackets. So I've got 6 take away 1 is 5. I haven't got any orders here. I haven't got any division, but I have got multiplication. So I'll then do 5 times 4, which is 20. And then finally 3 plus 20 will give me 23. Okay, so I hope that's a help. Not too tricky order of operations. Just remember brackets, orders, division and multiplication, and finally addition and subtraction. All the best with that. Good luck with any work you've got to do with order of operations, and look forward to you joining me in the next video.